this is Marsha Lecour, host of Marsha's Moments with Man, and today I have a special guest, Ahmad, with us today. Ahmad, say hello.
Hello, Marsha, and hello, all the viewers of Marsha's show.
Nice to have you here. I just want to make a couple announcements. I am an accountability strategist for men who are professionals, business owners, and entrepreneurs who I help to create work-life balance to make their health their number one priority so that they can be more productive and successful in their life so that they can leave a legacy to their family. If you want some support on this, just private message me and we will take it from there. So this afternoon, we are going to be talking to Ahmad about the work that he does. So let's jump right in here. So why don't you tell us the work that you're currently involved in and if you are aligned with your passion and purpose?
Thank you for the question. Yes, I will start it from the back end. Yes, the work that I do is aligned with my passions. And what I do is I help people, entrepreneurs, small business owners, and all the way up to executives and professionals in two areas. I help them to become the leaders they were supposed to be, show them what barriers, inner barriers and outer barriers exist and how to get over them so that they can reach to their level of excellence, or what I refer to as their leadership zone, as is the title of my book. In the other area that I help them is I help these people to communicate honestly, openly, respectfully, and directly with calm confidence and safe strength so that they can be more, do more, have more, and give more, and get results.
Tell us more about this communication platform that you are involved with.
So the communication platform that I'm involved with is that I'm an authorized business partner with James McNeil, and I'm a master trainer of verbal Aikido that he developed over a period of 20 years. I teach that to people in groups, small groups, in kind of 2-day workshops where they learn advanced techniques of self-control and also emotional intelligence and communication science, and also the non-adversarial philosophy of Aikido, which is a new Japanese martial art.
And so what kind of results have you had for people that when you give them this teach them from this communication platform, verbal Aikido?
Some of the people who have given me video testimonials, they consider this program as an eye-opener, especially people who have trouble understanding what problems they have, let's say, with their siblings or with their children or with their parents or in-laws. And then when we give the assessment to them as to how they communicate and the people on the other side, how those people communicate, from which ego state they communicate, suddenly their eyes open, say, oh, so the problem is here, I come across, as an example, I come across as a critical parent and I expect the other person to talk to me as an adult. But the communication said that if I come as a parent, the other person will automatically come as a child. And that breaks the expectations. And that's where the conflict starts. So we straighten these things out in the workshops for those people and also help them how to get rid of some of their hot buttons, like things, trigger points that other people say something and suddenly they become reactive, they become angry, how to get rid of them.
Now, would you say that the big barrier, let's say, in communication would be the lack of different ego states from which two people are attempting to communicate?
So the essence of verbal Aikido are three things. It is control self, that means you become aware what is it that other people do that affects you emotionally. So you become aware of it. Then you learn how to manage those emotions. And then also you learn how what you say or a third person says will affect the person in front of you emotionally. And then how do you manage that? And in the process, then how do you influence people?
Oh, interesting. And so tell us about the work that you do when you're going into different companies and businesses and helping those groups.
So the verbal Aikido comes in two forms. There is essentially one for individuals who will come into a workshops or a seminar. The other version is custom tailored to organizations where they select a group of their employees that are either high maintenance people or that they have difficulty communicating with prospects and clients, or they don't know how to do teamwork. In most organizations now, teamwork is the king. You have to be able to work in teams. So we help them sort out their communication skills. I also have a program that I have developed, which I call it Bridging the Communication Gap in Multi-Generational Workplace. And that is when there are millennials and Gen X and baby boomers working side by side. How do they manage the dynamics that are new? This is a new phenomenon in the last 20 years or so that has come up in the workplace. So I deal with that one also.
Now, would you say that that's the number one issue in the workplace today, where you've got these two or three generations that are working together and attempting to communicate effectively among themselves?
I think the issue, the pain point is not that they try to communicate and they cannot communicate. The pain point is that most of the managers are the baby boomers and they have a different behavior styles and they expect that everybody should follow their pattern, and they don't see it as a problem. They are not even aware that this generation gap is a problem. So that's where the problem is. The problem is not that a communication gap exists. It is that the people who are the influencers in the organization, they are not even aware that it's a problem.
So you have to go in and initially educate them and make them aware that there is an issue here.
As a matter of fact, some people who have been more successful than I am in this field, they go there as lunch and learn. They make a short presentation and they do a survey of the people. And then suddenly the management understands, oh my God, this is a problem. We have to address it.
Wow. And so how is that, what kind of an experience has that been for you to
For
facilitate this?
For me, I have not focused that much on it. I have given a few presentations in some of the organizations. I'm not sure if you are familiar. I come from an architectural background, so I have made presentations to a group of architects and designers in various shows and places like that. And the feedback that I get from them is that, oh my God, this is eye-opening. This is something strange.
Very interesting. Now, what got you into this line of work in the first place?
So I am an architect and I have over 30 years experience in architecture, but it was in the year 2006 with our mutual mentor, Raymond Aaron. I attended the first meeting there, and Janet Atwood, who was she's the creator of the passion test. She was the guest speaker, and she passed us through the passion test. And I thought that being an architect and have an MBA degree, I know what my passions are. But when I went through the passion test and I volunteered in the program, I found out that what I thought was my top number one passion didn't even make it to the number five, to the five passions.
Wow.
So as a result, oh my God, I had some passions that I wasn't living in my life. And then slowly what I did was I transitioned from architecture and created a lifestyle where those passions will come into my life. And it took me about 5-6 years to transition. And now what I do are aligned with my passions.
Now, do you remember what some of those top passions were for you?
Yes, well, the passion test in the first round, you don't discover deeply what it is. So I've been through passion tests many times, and now I know that my top passions are to have a great spiritual life, to have a quality time with the family and friends that I have, to have control over my schedule, to be a great speaker, and to be a great author. And as you know, I have published 2 books now, actually 3 books now. So I have achieved most of those passions that I just mentioned to you. I have my own programs. I speak in community organizations, in trade shows and other places. And I'm in control of my own schedule. Where I'm speaking, this is my home office. My office is about 5 meters from my bedroom. So, so I have practically achieved all those goals that I had and the passions that I was living, and I am living them now.
And do you think it's time for you to retake the passion test, or you're feeling very fulfilled where you are right now?
I'm a certified passion test facilitator.
Okay.
I help people to discover their passions, sometimes in group settings and sometimes one-on-one. So obviously, every 2 or 3 years, once you are clear what the passions are, every 1 year or 2, 3 years, one has to go through, because the passions are like clues to your purpose in life. They don't stay all the time. So a good example, if I tell you, is that there will be younger people whose passion will be to have children. They get the children, and the children grow, and their passions change to something else, and then they have other passions, etc. They are always, so they are like clues. Like in the airplane, they say that in case of emergency, there will be lights on the floor that will direct you to the exit. And what we say is that your passions direct you towards your destiny.
Very good. Yes.
As you move in time and in space, the passions change.
Yeah, that makes sense. That I can identify with that personally. So now let's go on a different tangent. Let's talk about challenges that men face from your perspective. So let's look at, first of all, the area of business. Do you see any challenge or issue that men face today in the area of business or being an entrepreneur?
The challenges in the area of entrepreneurship is not really gender-based. Both men and women could have similar or different challenges. But what I see from my experience is that men in today's society are boxed in a particular stereotype. And most men have accepted that stereotype. And what I think is that we should look at that stereotype box with a critical perspective and see if it is valid, and if it is not valid, how do we get out of that box?
Now, can you say more about this box, the stereotypical box?
Yeah, a good thing will be is that the society expects, they have put certain expectations and obligations on a person as on a male human being, that you have to be a man. And most people will use this to the level of abuse as to what does it mean to be a man. And some people, without thinking critically as to what is the idea of being a man with capital M, they will do all kinds of things and bring the excuse that, well, this is a man's job, the man has to do that. So obviously, on different levels, they will appear differently, but when you go down deep, there is a paradigm in the society that people have accepted that men have to behave in a certain way, which is a different box than maybe for women. Women most probably are in similar situations, but theirs is a different stereotype box than men. And I'm saying that men who want to be free to liberate themselves have to critically look at all those assumptions and paradigms that the society has imposed on us.
Now, what is one specific paradigm, for example, that you feel society has imposed on man?
Well, I don't know if you are if you have lived in Europe, but let's say in European societies, there are a lot of etiquettes that a man and a woman, when they are walking, when they are walking side by side, the man should be on the side where there is a lot of danger. That the man have to protect the male has to protect the female. In Eastern societies, in Afghanistan, where I come from, for example, the man has to walk in front, and the woman is not allowed to walk side by side with them. They have to be behind. These are stereotypes that are imposed on human beings based on gender. And I think that we need to critically evaluate these assumptions and try to free ourselves from it.
Well, I'm going to say this from my personal experience. When I'm walking with a man, regardless of my relationship with the man, I automatically walk on the inside, and he seems to automatically walk on the outside. Now,
Yeah.
that's very interesting.
It most probably, well, subconsciously we are wired
Yes.
to do that. And so it comes typically from the stereotyping of the genders in the society.
Interesting. Now, continuing on with challenges, but this time, what do you think is a challenge for man or an issue for men in the area of health?
Yeah, again, to come back to the stereotype, the box, men are supposed to be risk takers. They are supposed to take risks and the devil may care kind of attitude. So they will expose themselves to a lot of rigors in the physical world without taking good care of their health, or they will try to compete with other people in unhealthy behavior.
Can you give us an example?
In terms of drinking or smoking or getting high, getting stoned, or competing on some rigorous, very dangerous exercises. I think that the younger people who are more driven by their emotions than by their intellect become prey to this kind of challenges that are, I would say, exclusive to the male population.
Okay.
And that affects their health, definitely.
Yes.
Immediately, it will not affect it, but over the years, as they grow, like smoking, for example, is considered a macho activity.
Right, and like you say, over the long term, it has consequences.
Exactly.
And so, on a final note, what is one tip? What's one positive tip that you would like to leave for the men?
My tip for the men will be is that they should find their purpose and live on purpose. Hopefully, it's a purpose that's bigger than them, that will, focus their attention on the purpose, and then all the distraction that come along that we were talking about that are bad for their health and for their wealth and for their well-being will be ignored.
That's a great note to end on. And today I want to just say, this is Marsha Lecour, host of Marsha's Moments with Men with special guest Ahmad. And I just want to say at the outset, thank you for joining me here today. And finally, I am an accountability strategist. I work with men who are business owners, entrepreneurs, and professionals who want to have work-life balance in their life by putting their health their number one priority so that they will be productive and successful in life in order to leave a legacy to their family. So I want to thank all of you for joining us here today, and I wish you well, Ahmad, in all of your endeavors. Thank you for joining me here today.
Thank you, Marsha, for giving me the opportunity to be on your show, and thank your viewers for participating in this. I hope they will take a few points from it and use them.
Thank you.
Bye.